33 candidates, torn shoes. Discover the incredible journey that led the CEO to choose her instead. Maya stood behind the counter of her coffee shop, the familiar hum of the espresso machine mixing with the clinking of cups and bright laughter of her customers. Each morning, the aromatic steam rose like hope, wrapping around her as tightly as her two small shoes pinched her toes. She was a single mother with the weight of the world on her shoulders, running a place that became a community sanctuary. Every smile and every shared moment in this little haven was woven into the fabric of her life, a life that was about to take a turn she never imagined. Maya had dreams that extended beyond frothy lattes and sweet pastries. When word came that a prestigious nonprofit was seeking a new CEO, a spark ignited inside her. Despite the unsettling chill of self-doubt, she decided to apply. The thought made her stomach churn. 33 candidates. Each of them with impressive resumes, elitist degrees, and polished shoes that gleamed under the sun. And here she stood, her shoes fraying, the soles worn thin from years of running after her spirited children, ages 5 and 8. Yet, it was those same shoes that had tread paths filled with resilience. During her interview, an invisible wall pressed against her. Comments lingered in the air, like whispers colored by bias. "Do you really think you have what it takes?" was a silent thread that wound through each inquiry. She could feel her heart thudding louder with each question, an echo of her fears crashing over her. Then one morning, Tom, a local veteran with a gentle demeanor often warmed by Maya's brew, caught sight of her shoes. "Those tell a powerful story, you know," he said, a spark of brilliance lighting up his eyes. "Let them remind you of where you've been and how strong you are. Share that story." His words laced through her thoughts like a comforting swirl of cinnamon. That night, inspiration struck like a bolt of lightning. Maya organized a community event, Rally for Resilience, inviting everyone who had poured their hearts into her shop. The local stage became theirs, an intersection where stories mingled, struggles were laid bare, and laughter rang free. They stood united under strings of colorful lights, thriving in their shared fight against economic inequities, as she unveiled her vision for a brighter future. Just when the momentum began to tilt in her favor, shadows of her past crept back through the door, led by her estranged father. An argument that had brewed quietly boiled over. Tears blurred her vision as the old wounds of rejection and guilt opened, echoing in her head like a stubborn refrain. "You don't deserve this. You'll always be just a waitress in their eyes." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Maya stood before the selection board, tension thrumming in the air like a taut string ready to snap. "I may not fit the mold of what you expect," she began, her voice steady yet fierce. "But success is not defined by degrees or wealth. It's about connection, community, about what we can create together, no matter where we started." Her words floated around the boardroom, and in that moment, silence enveloped the space. Would they hear her heart, her struggle, her unbreakable resolve? Maya felt the walls of doubt crack, just a bit. But as the board shifted to deliberate, her heart raced. Had she captivated them? Or was she still just the woman with the torn shoes? Would the shadows of her past devour her dreams? The question hung heavy in the air, a bittersweet taste of uncertainty and hope. The board's murmurs drifted around the room, but Maya could hardly make out the words. Each beat of her heart echoed louder, drowning out the conversations, as if they all knew the stakes were high. She scanned their faces, searching for a hint of recognition, a flicker of understanding, or even a sign that they were fighting their own battles. Finally, one of the board members, a woman with silver streaks weaving through her brown hair, leaned forward. "Maya," she said, her voice crisp like autumn leaves, "can you tell us about a time when you faced a significant challenge? How did you overcome it?" Maya's breath caught in her throat. There it was, the question she'd prepared for. The challenge she could share. Last year, my community was hit hard by the economic downturn. People I knew were losing their jobs and struggling to feed their families. I remember one customer, Lisa, a single mother like me, who would sit in my cafe working on her resume while her kids played in the corner. Her eyes flickered with emotion, pulling energy from the memories. I saw strength in her, and I couldn't just stand by. She recounted her experiences, the late nights spent organizing food drives, rallying volunteers, and collecting donations. Faces of her community floated through her mind. We banded together. We created a support group for single parents. It wasn't easy, but seeing people come together in hard times, knowing we were there for each other, it ignited something in me. It made me realize that real leadership isn't about titles. It's about lifting others up. As she spoke, the atmosphere shifted. The board listened intently, each word inching her closer to them. The echoes of doubt began to fade, replaced with a growing warmth starting from within. She couldn't help but feel empowered by her own vulnerability. But then a faint whisper of fear crept back in. Would they truly believe her? Had the story been enough to rewrite their initial perception? Maya's mind raced, a jumble of emotions battling for dominance. What if they still saw her as just a barista? In a moment of clarity, she lifted her chin. We can't measure a person's worth by their past or their shoes. My experiences shaped me, but they don't limit me. I stand here not just representing myself but everyone who feels overlooked or underestimated. We can change the narrative. Together. A stillness fell upon the room, and she could sense it. There, behind their professional facades, something shifted. But just as hope reignited in her chest, doubt clambered back, reminding her of her father's piercing words. As if reading her thoughts, the silver-haired woman spoke again. Thank you, Maya. Your passion is evident. But can passion alone drive a nonprofit? Can you manage budgets, strategize, navigate potential conflicts? The question hung heavy, and with it, a wave of vulnerability crashed over her again. She felt trapped between her old fears and her dreams. I can learn. I am learning, she asserted, her throat dry. And I'm determined to turn every challenge into an opportunity for growth for me, and all of us. In the silence that followed, Maya caught Tom's approving nod from the outside, and the memory of her children's laughter lingered in her thoughts. Did they see it? Did they see her heart? Just then, the door creaked open. A young girl, no older than 8, wandered in, her shoelaces untied, and with her big, inquisitive eyes scanned the scene. Maya's breath hitched. Could this child unknowingly represent the very future she dreamed of creating? Feeling the gravity of the moment, her heart raced. Could this be what turned the tides? And suddenly the question surged back: would the board choose to believe in her? Or would they let their biases overshadow the truth of her journey? Maya's heart skipped as the little girl stepped into the room, the playful innocence in her wide eyes contrasting sharply with the tension thickening the air. The board members shifted in their seats, momentarily taken aback by the unexpected interruption. Mommy? The girl called out, her voice sweet yet trembling, accentuating the vulnerability of the moment. Maya's stomach tightened. She hadn't noticed how desperately she longed to see her children. I'm right here, sweetheart. She managed, forcing a smile that felt simultaneously genuine and strained. The board watched in silence, perhaps taken by the rawness of a mother and child in this sterile, corporate environment. We have a meeting, honey. You shouldn't be in here. But even as she spoke, Maya felt the weight of her words. How could she say that when all she wanted was to share this space with her daughter? The girl's brow furrowed as she looked around. Are you gonna win, Mommy? A lump formed in Maya's throat. I hope so. She glanced back at the board, their unwavering glances suddenly feeling softer, almost human. I want to win for all of us. Will you help all the people? Her daughter pressed on, her innocence punching through the corporate veneer. Maya's heart swelled. This was the very essence of her mission: the people, the community. Yes, baby, just like I've always tried to, Maya said, her voice full of conviction. It was a reminder, Perhaps even a revelation of why she had fought so hard to stand against the odds. The board members exchanged glances, their expressions shifting. For the first time, she could see a flicker of hope appearing in the gray eyes of the woman with the silver streaks. "Please excuse my daughter," Maya added, her voice steadying. "She just wants to see the world be better." The silver-haired woman finally broke the silence. "Children have a way of cutting through the noise, don't they?" Her tone was softening. "You have a powerful advocate in her." Maya felt a small spark of courage ignite within her. Perhaps this was exactly what she needed, a reminder that she wasn't simply here for validation, but for the vision she had for herself, and, more importantly, for her community. She could almost feel her mother's spirit beside her, urging her forward. Then, as if the board was collectively inhaling, the tension in the room began to dissipate. "What else do you have planned for your initiative, Maya? If we are to move forward, we want to know your strategy." The same woman pressed on, clearly intrigued now. Maya took a breath, shifting from fear to hope. "We plan to host events that would engage the youth. Workshops that teach job skills, financial literacy, and community building," she spoke with more confidence. "I want the community to see that they have something valuable to offer. It's about creating leaders out of regular people." The board scribbled notes. Intrigued, the murmurs continued, but there was an air of understanding now, a hint that her vulnerability had struck a chord. But the woman continued, the weight of her question back in place. "How will you fund all this? The reality is that it takes more than passion." Maya felt a rush of determination pulse in her veins. She had spent countless evenings researching grants, networking, and reaching out to potential donors. "I may not have traditional experience," she said, her heart pounding, "but I know how to work hard and to build relationships. My community is my best resource." Just then, the little girl tugged on her shirt. "Mommy, can we go home now?" Her voice was small, reminding Maya of her own home, the laughter, the dreams. "Yes, sweetheart, we can. But I need to finish up first, okay?" The girl nodded and settled against her leg. A curious silence enveloped them as the board mulled over her words. Maya took this moment to soak it all in their faces, the little girl leaning against her. She felt like she was standing at the threshold of something monumental. "Can we create something together here?" Maya asked, lifting her chin with a new determination. "Can we build that future now?" The atmosphere buzzed, heavy with potential as Maya looked at their expressions, willing to see hope reflect back at her, and as the board members began to converse amongst themselves, Maya felt a flutter of anticipation. They were contemplating her future, her mission. Could this turn into something greater? But then she hesitated, the old doubts creeping back. Were they truly ready to embrace her vision? And just as she was about to ask, the door swung open again, and another unexpected visitor rushed in. "What now?" A man burst into the room, breathless, holding a stack of papers like a lifeline. He was wearing a wrinkled shirt and mismatched shoes that looked like they had seen better days. The board members froze mid-conversation, their interest piqued by this new intrusion. "Excuse me. I'm sorry for interrupting," he stammered, his eyes darting around as if he had just run a marathon to get there. "I heard what she was proposing and I couldn't stay silent. It's important." Maya felt the weight of the moment again. Everyone was staring at him now, baffled but intrigued. Who was he? What did he have to say? "Please share your thoughts," Maya urged, her own curiosity blooming into something more. He took a shaky breath, gripping the papers tighter. "I've been living in this community for years. I've seen so many people struggle because they haven't had access to basic tools, education, job training, even hope." His voice shook with conviction. "Your vision, it's what we need. I've been working on a project that aligns perfectly with your initiative. I just didn't know how to reach you until now." Maya's heart raced. Could this be the opportunity she had been searching for? She tilted her head, eager to hear more. "I run a small nonprofit focused on providing vocational training and mentorship. We've been doing it as best as we could on a shoestring budget, but it's time to scale up. Your idea of engaging the youth? It's a stepping stone. We can partner." I can show you the impact we've already made. The man's eyes glimmered with hope. For a moment, the board members appeared as captivated by the stranger's passion as they were by Maya's earlier plea. They leaned in, intrigued. Yes. We could collaborate, Maya said, almost breathlessly. Imagine the potential if we combine resources. Great ideas need teamwork. The man nodded vigorously, but then he stilled, as if remembering the reality of their challenges. I know funding is a big hurdle, but we can work through it together. People want to invest in meaningful change. I've spoken to local businesses. They would be interested if they see a solid plan. The board members began whispering amongst themselves, their brows furrowing, but they weren't dismissing the possibility. Maya could feel the connection between them expanding, possibilities unspooling like threads of a tapestry yet to be woven. She turned to her daughter, who still clung to her side, eyes wide with wonder. I never thought I'd have a chance, the man continued, his voice trembling with raw emotion. I just wanted to help. I've been laid off, struggling to make ends meet, wearing these shoes until they fall apart. But I've seen what happens when people come together. Maya's heart wrenched. She knew that struggle, felt it in her own bones. The late nights juggling bills while dreaming of change. She could see it mirrored in his eyes, his genuine desire to uplift others despite his own hardships. As the board members began airing their opinions, a cacophony of excitement and skepticism, Maya felt a fire igniting in her chest. She was no longer alone. Together, she said, finding her voice, we can turn these struggles into stories of triumph. What if we show the world what is possible? Let us draft a proposal, and together we'll chase after funding, show them that our community is worth investing in. The anxious murmurs began to fade as Maya's words filled the room, igniting enthusiasm. The ideas buzzed, and for the first time, direct actions flickered in their eyes rather than uncertainties. But just as optimism soared, the door swung open yet again, and a familiar figure stepped inside. The room fell silent, all eyes on the newcomer. Who was it this time? What secrets might they reveal? The figure was tall and imposing, wearing a crisp suit that contrasted sharply with the chaos of the room. It was Mr. Thompson, the CEO of a well-known tech company. His reputation preceded him. He was someone who never walked into a space without purpose, fully aware of the weight he carried. Maya, I just received your proposal, he said, his voice steady and commanding. And I think we need to talk. She blinked, stunned. This was not how she imagined today would unfold. The excitement that had bloomed in her chest moments ago now felt like a balloon on the verge of popping. Mr. Thompson, she managed, this as he held up a hand, urging her to pause. I believe I have the vision to help you fulfill what you started, he said, scanning the faces around the room. The youth program, it aligns perfectly with our company's values. But I want to hear what this gentleman has to say first. All eyes shifted back to the man with the wrinkled shirt. His breath hitched, surprise mingling with disappointment. He hadn't anticipated this powerful interruption. Yes, I think we could really use your support, Mr. Thompson, he stammered, shifting on his feet. With your backing, we could expand our reach. Our community needs this now more than ever. The CEO watched him closely, his expression inscrutable. And how do you plan to ensure that investment will yield results? Maya tightened her grip on her daughter's hand, sensing the mounting tension. She wanted to speak, to elaborate on the vision they had just started to outline, but her words felt trapped. To thrive, we need a clear plan, the man said, his voice gathering strength. We have seen success in training programs, but we need help moving forward. It's a matter of trust, and I want to earn that from the community and from you. Mr. Thompson's eyebrows raised slightly, intrigued. Trust. Well, that's a tall order in our line of work, don't you think? Maya saw this as a moment she couldn't miss. We've all seen people fail because they didn't have the resources or networks. Together, we can change this narrative, she said, her voice ringing out. Are you willing to put in the work? Mr. Thompson challenged, looking from her to the man and back again, a flicker of respect shining in his gaze. Yes, the man exclaimed. Every effort, every hour spent, this is not just a job for us. This is our community. We're fighting for everyone who feels left behind. It's what we've always done, and it's unwavering. The tension shifted, crackling with the potential for something great. The board members whispered amongst themselves, some nodding in approval. It felt as if the collective energy had changed. Hope blossomed once more. Mr. Thompson stepped closer, lowering his voice so only they could hear. All right, I'm willing to listen. But this requires not just your passion, it needs facts, numbers, and a roadmap. A cautious optimism sparked in Maya's heart. They might have a chance, but the stakes felt incredibly high. The man nodded, leaning into the moment. We can prepare that. Together, we'll prove it's possible. Just then, a buzzing sound broke through the air. Maya's phone vibrated insistently in her pocket, pulling her attention away. Taking a quick glance, her heart sank. It was a text from her older brother. Maya, you need to come home. It's urgent. We can't wait. She felt her stomach twist. What could be so important at this moment? A part of her wanted to ignore it, to embrace the budding possibilities in the room. But a deeper concern tugged at her. She couldn't let her family down, not now. Anxiety swirled through her as she looked back up. Mr. Thompson, her voice faltered. Could she leave now? Could she afford to prioritize her family over this potentially life-changing conversation? The eyes in the room reflected understanding, tenacity, and a plea to follow through. Would she be able to balance both worlds? Would she have to choose? As the weight of that decision hung in the air, the door swung open again, this time bringing an unexpected face from her past. How would this change everything? Maya's breath caught in her throat as she turned to see who had entered. The room faded away for a moment, the noise dimming into a background hum. It was Alex, her childhood friend, the one she hadn't seen in a decade. His face was a mix of surprise and concern, and for a fleeting moment, everything else felt unimportant. Maya, he said, his voice hoarse as he scanned the room. I didn't expect to find you here not like this. The weight of his presence pushed back against her decision. She hadn't just come to pitch a program. She was standing on the edge of a defining moment, and here was the ghost of her past. For a brief second, the flaws of her carefully crafted life were uncovered. Torn shoes are symbolic of hardship's real life that doesn't align with polished proposals. Alex, what are you doing here? She asked, trying to maintain her composure, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. I got a call about Mom, he said, stepping further inside, his eyes scanning for acknowledgement. She's not doing well. Maya's heart plummeted. Her fingers instinctively reached for her daughter's hand, grounding herself in the present moment. Sheltering the little one from the storm that brewed between familial obligations and her dreams felt impossible. I can't leave now, she murmured, more to herself than to Alex. This was her chance, her opportunity to help so many. But how could she turn her back on her family when they might need her the most? Mr. Thompson watched the scene unfold with growing interest. He could sense the struggle within Maya, the dichotomy of duty and ambition painted across her face. The room was now tense, the air thick with uncertainty. Actually, this could work, he interjected, his tone far softer but undeniably authoritative. Maya, if there's a family emergency, maybe we can arrange a follow-up. I appreciate your passion, but family should come first. Maya's chest ached at his understanding. Maybe this was the universe aligning, providing clarity amidst chaos. I appreciate that, Mr. Thompson. I just need to. I'll take care of it, Alex interrupted, his tone fierce and protective. You stay here. This matters. We'll talk later. Their eyes locked, and a flood of memories washed over her hilarious childhood escapades, late-night fears shared, the comfort of camaraderie that had weathered storms. This was Alex, the boy who had sworn to be there no matter what. But now, the stakes felt different. Look, I never wanted you to have to make this choice, he continued, his voice thick. But it's time I took on some of this weight myself. Maya glanced around the room, catching the silent encouragement from her allies and Mr. Thompson. Could she really lean on Alex after all these years? Her heart raced with the possibilities. The man from earlier stepped forward, breaking the silence. Maya, we believe in your vision. Maybe the best roadmap starts at home. Hope fluttered among the crowd, but uncertainty plagued her thoughts. While Alex might be promising to lighten her burden, there was a deeper connection to her mission that beckoned her heart. I don't want to abandon this, she pressed, looking first at her brother and then towards the CEO. But I have to be honest about what is happening. For a split second, tension gripped her. Would revealing vulnerabilities invalidate her worth? In that instant, the world felt smaller. It all hinged on decisions that twisted between personal and professional, each path branching into unforeseen futures. Sometimes, Mr. Thompson began, taking a measured step forward, the most courageous act is simply to ask for help. Her heart raced, a new realization creeping in. Maybe standing up meant standing with those she loved. As she prepared to make a choice between the past and her ambitions, another door creaked open. A new arrival, unbeknownst to her, could shift everything yet again. Who else might testify to her journey? How deep did the roots of her challenges run? The new arrival stepped into the room, and as Maya turned to look, her heart sank even further. It was Emily, her former mentor. The woman who had inspired her to chase her dreams but had also been the force that challenged her to rise above the noise of self-doubt. The memory of their last encounter hit Maya like a punch to the gut. "Emily?" she whimpered, her voice barely above a whisper. This was not the kind of reunion she had envisioned. "Maya, I heard you were pitching something groundbreaking," Emily said, her usual enthusiasm dimmed under the weight of concern. "I'm glad to see you, but I'm worried about you." Maya felt the heat rise in her cheeks. Her stomach twisted with the fear of judgment. Here stood the person she admired the most, and yet she felt so undeserving. "I couldn't leave." "Not now." Emily nodded slowly, understanding swelling across her features. "I know this is huge for you. But I also know your family needs you." She glanced at Alex, whose posture had grown resolute. "How can I help?" The air felt charged with urgency, and everyone watched as Maya wrestled with the burden of her conflicting feelings. This moment felt monumental. Could she really allow herself to rely on others? "I can't just walk away. My dreams, they're right here," she said, gesturing with a wave of her hand to the proposal documents spread around her. "They're not just ideas, they're a lifeline for so many." Alex stepped closer, his eyes softening. "And they can still be," he said, his voice steady. "But we can't ignore family. We can find a way to balance both." Maya's heart ached at the thought of her mother struggling and the child clinging to her leg, sensing the tension that hung thick in the air. But there was also a spark of hope in Alex's suggestion. Could the two worlds coexist? Or would she have to sacrifice one for the other? "I always thought ambition was a straight line, but maybe it's more like a web," Maya said slowly, pieces of clarity snapping into place. "Perhaps I can weave them together." "Exactly," Emily said, a smile breaking through her initial worry. "You've always been about community. Perhaps bringing your vision closer to home will strengthen it. Make it richer." As the weight of their words settled in, Maya felt a resurgence of energy. It wasn't just about choosing one path. It was about embracing her role as both a daughter and a leader. Mr. Thompson watched, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. "Incredible potential lies in honesty, Maya, in revealing your struggles and still standing tall." With newfound determination surging through her, she made a choice. "I'll take the leap and present my vision as it stands," she declared, her voice growing louder. "But I also need to be there for my family. I choose both." The room erupted in soft murmurs of encouragement, hopeful nods flying about like confetti. It was a delicate balance, perhaps precarious, but one she was willing to brave. "Let us navigate this together," Alex said, clearly proud of her resolve. "I'm in," Emily replied, the warmth of her support washing over Maya. Just then, Alex's phone buzzed. His face fell as he read the message. "It's Mom," he said, his voice trembling. Maya's heart raced. What could this mean? Were things worse than they had feared? As Alex's face tightened with concern, Maya felt a chill run through her. The stakes just got higher. What would happen next? Could she really bear both burdens? Maya's breath hitched as she watched Alex's expression darken. His phone seemed to weigh a ton in his hand, and the moment dragged like molasses. Alex, she whispered, stepping closer. What does it say? He swallowed hard, struggling to find the words. It's about Grandma. She's had a fall. The room seemed to tilt, the walls drawing in around them. Thoughts raced through Maya's mind, her mother's frailty, Grandma's stubbornness, the weight of the world on her shoulders. Emily reached out and held Alex's arm, grounding him. Is she okay? I don't know, he replied, his voice barely steady. Mom wants us to come home now. Maya's pulse quickened. Panic bubbled beneath the surface. What if Grandma needed more than just a visit? But amid the chaos, a thread of resolve threaded through her thoughts. We need to go. But the presentation Alex started, the conflict evident on his face. Emily interrupted. Nothing is more important than family. You two go. We can handle the pitch back here. Maya's heart swelled, caught in a tangle of gratitude and despair. The pitch meant everything to her, but it felt meaningless in comparison to the family's needs. Are you sure? Absolutely. Just keep us updated, and we'll hold down the fort, Emily assured, her smile returning briefly as if to remind Maya that hope still flickered. With a nod, Alex pocketed the phone and took Maya's hand, warmth spreading through her fingers as they moved toward the door. The drive home felt surreal. The roads blurred by, a rush of trees and signs that never quite registered in her mind. Each passing moment felt heavier than the last. She glanced at Alex's profile. He looked so focused, yet she could see the worry etched in his brow. Do you think she'll be okay? Maya asked quietly, her voice almost swallowed by the hum of the car. I hope so, he replied, glancing at her. But if not, we'll figure it out together. In that moment, something shifted within Maya. A realization washed over her. No matter what challenges lay ahead, they had each other. They would weather this storm side by side, even if the future felt blurry now. As they pulled into the familiar driveway, anxiety bubbled anew. Alex's mother was waiting at the door, her expression a mix of fear and determination. Maya! She called, rushing to them. Mom? Alex stepped out first, reaching for her, pulling her into a tight embrace. Maya felt like an outsider in that moment, but then, Alex's mother turned to her. Thank you for coming, she said, her voice cracking just a little. I need your support too. Maya nodded slowly, stepping forward into their circle. It was more than just Alex's family now. She was weaving herself into their story, becoming part of their struggles. As they all moved inside, the atmosphere felt charged with raw emotion. A sweetness in the air, the scent of cookies baking, clashed against the heaviness of uncertainty. Maya's heart clenched, realizing that as important as her professional dreams held, this family needed her too. But just as they settled, the phone rang, a sharp intrusion that sent a tremor through the room. Alex's mom answered on speaker, her voice trembling. Hello? A familiar voice crackled back. I have an update. It's about your mother. Maya's pulse quickened as she shared a worried glance with Alex. What could this mean? The moment of truth felt like it was swirling just out of reach, hanging in the air like a drawn breath. Would the news be good, or would it change everything? Maya held her breath as she waited for the voice on the other end to continue. Tension filled the space, thick and suffocating. Alex's mother's grip tightened around the phone, her knuckles turning white. It was a moment suspended in time, one that would inevitably shift the course of their lives. The voice spoke again, clearer this time. She is stable, but we need to keep her for observation. There's a fracture in her wrist and some bruising. We're monitoring her closely. Relief washed over Maya, but it was bittersweet. Stable was good, but it didn't erase the worry gnawing at the edges of her heart. Alex nodded, but Maya could see the tiredness settle into his features. Can I talk to her? Alex's mom asked, her voice steadier now. Of course, the nurse replied. Let me get her on the line. As the call connected, Maya felt the pull of fear tighten in her chest again. The bond between grandmother and grandson was strong, She couldn't help but feel she was intruding on this fragile moment. Standing beside Alex, she tensed as his mother spoke softly, whispering words Maya couldn't hear. "Thank you, I love you," Alex's mother said, her eyes brimming with tears. She hung up the phone and took a deep breath, composure returning but the fragility lingering. "She'll be okay," she said, though it sounded more like a prayer than a certainty. Just then, the aroma of freshly baked cookies enveloped them anew, grounding Maya in the moment. They were in a home of warmth and love, even amidst the uncertainty. This was where they rallied, where hope threaded through their fears. "Let us go see her," Alex suggested, a spark of determination igniting in his voice. "We can leave now." His mom hesitated. "It's late, we should get some rest, then head out first thing in the morning." Maya felt a surge of support for Alex. "I think we should go tonight too. Being there for Grandma is what matters most right now." They exchanged glances, her strength meeting his resolve. It was a small moment, but it meant everything. Alex's mother nodded, a glimmer of gratitude in her eyes. "I'd like that. Let me grab some things." While she disappeared into the other room, Maya turned to Alex. "Are you okay?" He nodded slowly, but she could see the doubt stirring beneath the surface. "I keep wishing she'd just recover and be fine. The thought of losing her is something I can't handle." Maya stepped closer, her heart aching for him. "We'll manage this together," she promised, her voice steady. "Your grandma is strong. And so are you." The soft chuckle that escaped him surprised her. It held both warmth and strain. "You really believe that?" "Absolutely," she replied, squeezing his hand gently. Just then, Alex's mother returned, her bag slung over one shoulder. "Ready? We should get on the road." As they ventured out into the chilly night, the stars twinkled overhead, distant but strangely comforting. Maya felt a flutter of hope amid the worry. But as they climbed into the car, Maya's phone buzzed insistently. She fished it out of her pocket, her heart racing when she saw Emily's name lighting up the screen. "Should I answer it?" she asked, glancing at Alex and his mother. "Yeah, let us see what she wants," Alex replied, his eyes still fixated on the road. Taking a deep breath, Maya answered, her heart pounding. "Emily, hi." "Maya. I just wanted to check in. How are things?" Maya hesitated. "We're on our way to see Alex's grandma. She had a fall." There was a brief silence on the other end. "Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that." "It's okay. She's stable, but we're heading to the hospital. Stay strong, okay? You both are doing the right thing," Emily encouraged, her voice warm and supportive. "Thanks, Emily. We'll keep you updated." As she hung up, Maya caught Alex's expression shift subtly, the weight of their family crisis converging with their own dreams and struggles. "We'll get through this night," he said softly, determination filling the space once more. But as they drove further into the night, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was just beginning, and the challenges ahead might test them in ways they couldn't yet imagine. What did the future hold for them now? The hospital's fluorescent lights flickered overhead as Maya, Alex, and his mother stepped into the waiting room, anxiety sliding into their bones like ice. The air was thick with anticipation, tension swirling as families quietly awaited news of their loved ones. Leaning on the familiar warmth of Alex as she walked, Maya felt her heart steadier, a reminder of what truly mattered in moments like this. As they found a spot to sit, a nurse approached them, her demeanor calm and professional. "You're here for Mrs. Jacobs?" she inquired gently. Alex nodded, a mixture of hope and terror cast across his features. "Is she all right?" "She's stable and resting," the nurse assured them, her voice low. "You can see her shortly. Just a few more minutes, okay?" The trio shared a collective sigh, relief washing through them, if only for a moment. Maya stole a glance at her phone. No new messages, no updates about her own life, each ping muted under the weight of their current reality. As they waited, Maya turned to Alex's mother, whose eyes hid pools of worry. "How about you?" Maya asked softly. "How are you holding up?" "I'm just relieved she's okay," Alex's mother admitted, her smile wavering. "That woman has always been a fighter." A surge of admiration pulsed within Maya. She raised a fight or two, she replied, looking at Alex. You are so strong. He flushed, but Maya meant every word. This was not the time for insincerity. They were all about to embark on a hard journey, one that would inevitably shape them in ways they couldn't foresee. Moments stretched, heavy with anticipation. The door finally swung open, and a doctor emerged. He looked weary but kind. Family of Mrs. Jacobs? He called, and they rose simultaneously like marionettes guided by strings. She's doing well considering her fall, he said, and relief flooded their hearts again. We did the necessary scans, and thankfully, no serious complications. She'll need some recovery time, but she's stable. Tears glistened in Alex's eyes. Can we see her? The doctor nodded, leading them toward a private room. As they approached, the sound of soft machinery beeping created an odd sort of harmony with the muted breaths spilling from inside. Maya held Alex's hand tightly, steeling herself against whatever awaited them. Inside, Grandma Jacobs lay wrapped in blankets, looking smaller than Maya had ever seen her, frail but alive. Mom? Alex whispered, and her eyes fluttered open, a spark igniting amidst her tired features. The corners of her mouth lifted, and for an instant, the darkness melted away. My baby, she replied weakly, reaching out a hand that trembled slightly. They drew near, and Maya felt awash in the love and concern swirling around them. Gratefulness bubbled up inside her. Here, in this room, surrounded by family, it was evident that hope had an uncanny way of manifesting in the hardest of times. As they all spoke softly, Maya's thoughts drifted to her own dreams, her vision that had seemed so urgent just hours ago. Perhaps that strive for community hadn't disappeared amid this family strife. Instead, it had transformed into something deeper and more meaningful. Once Grandma Jacobs caught her breath, she turned her gaze upon Maya. Thank you, she murmured, her words thick with emotion. For being here for my family. Maya's heart swelled, feeling utterly alive in that moment. We're family, she whispered back, her voice thick with sincerity. The weight of community suddenly felt much more profound and broader than she ever expected. Later, as they shared laughter and stories in that hospital room, a quiet understanding settled over them. Each sharing felt like stitching together their lives, healing old wounds and binding them together. As the hours rolled on, Maya felt her phone buzz once more, breaking through what had become a sacred bubble of connection. It was Emily, checking in. Hey Maya, the text read. Just wanted to let you know the board is really excited about your pitch, even without you there. They see the potential. Maya paused, a warmth flooding her chest. She had feared her absence. During the most critical moment would disintegrate her opportunity for good. But here was a reminder that her impact was already making waves, even from afar. The tides had begun to shift. Thank you, she typed back. I'll explain everything soon. As the night wore on, boundaries blurred. There were no dreams or ambitions, just the vibrant heartbeat of family, each pulse serving as a reminder of who they all were to one another, a collective of resilience. Suddenly, a vision unfolded in her mind, of her community rallying together, hands joining, hearts intertwining just like her own with Alex as they held Grandma Jacobs. This was the energy she wanted to harness and promote. This moment solidified her belief that healing starts at home, then ripples outward. In the following days, while Grandma Jacobs rested and regained her strength, Maya took time to reflect. The mission of community empowerment remained in her heart, yet the vision would grow alongside her family ties, learning from their stories, their struggles. Not many days later, with Grandma back home and recovering well, Maya picked up the phone, vowing to share her vision, advocating for the interconnectedness of her family and community work. She began to lay the groundwork for combining resources, blending her goals with the initiatives she had learned from Grandma's past, weaving stronger ties than before. Empowerment had taken on new meaning as she embraced her two worlds, and that was just the beginning. Finally, as the sun set one evening, casting a golden glow through the kitchen window as the family gathered again, Maya's heart swelled with gratitude. They laughed, they shared, they embraced their past, present, and future. And then, with a full heart and hope radiating from within, She knew without a doubt that their journey together was just beginning. Do not let this moment slip away. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Your support is what fuels this journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and keep these inspiring tales alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. What moments resonated with you? Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to help spread the message. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.